Hey guys, I'm Kalila Reynolds, and as you know, we talk a lot about money on this channel, personal finance, investing, and I'm here to tell you about a different type of investment today, which you may not immediately think about as an investment: insurance. Insurance as an investment, you're thinking? Yep, absolutely right. So, even if you're a homeowner, if you're a business owner, if you offer professional services, there are various ways that insurance can help you protect your investment and build your investment capacity. So, joining me today is Winsome Gibbs. She's the manager of Massy United Insurance's Jamaica branch. Let's welcome Winsome. Hi, Winsome.
Hi, Kalila. Good morning.
Looking
How
like
are
a ray
you
of
this morning?
sunshine. I am great. Not as good as you. You look like a ray of sunshine today.
I tried.
All
You're
right.
looking
So,
for yourself.
thank you. Thank you. Well, I try.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
So tell me first, before we get into insurance as an investment, tell me a little bit about Massey United Insurance.
Okay, Massy United Insurance is a regional general insurance company. We are currently in 19 territories in the Caribbean. Um, Excitingly, Jamaica is Massy's final destination for now. So Massy United Jamaica started we got our license in 2018, November, and we actually officially launched to the Jamaican public in March 2019. So we are currently in the Panjam building on the 7th floor, 60 Knotswood Boulevard. We're actually excited to be in Jamaica. Massy is no stranger to Jamaica. If you're familiar with the Neil and Massy group, Massy is part of that group. Just that we no longer have Neil and Massy, but what we have is Massy Group. So Massy
Right,
United Insurance is a member of the Massy Group.
right.
Our
All
head
right. So,
office, yeah, our head office is in Barbados. We are an AIM-Best rated company. And what that speaks to really is the financial strength of the company. We have an A- rating, excellence, as far back over 15 years or more. So that tells you that we are solid.
absolutely solid company. So let's get right into the meat of the matter. How, Winsome, can insurance be considered an investment?
Oh, insurance. I like to say insurance is like a parachute, right? It's one of
Mm,
those things that when you really, really need help, insurance can help you there. So what I mean by that is insurance for a business operator, for example. Let's say Kalila started her business and she's bought all these equipment and all of these things from her savings, right? If you purchase insurance to secure your equipment that you use for your business, let's say something happened and there's a fire or there is some sort of accidental damage to those items. Remember, you just use your last little savings to purchase these things. Now you're going to have to pull out your insurance parachute, and we would secure you if you purchase some insurance, because if you had insurance for these equipment, you would claim on your insurance policy. So that's what we mean when we say insurance is an investment. And insurance is like a parachute. You need it when things are rough and you're really in a tight spot. Your insurance policy will kick in and secure you there.
yes, I see what you're talking about. So let's look specifically at different categories of people and why they might need insurance as an investment. Let's start with the homeowners, Winsome. So when you buy a house, this is usually for most people the largest purchase that you will ever make in your entire life. Because especially here in Jamaica, it's a lot of money we're talking about, millions of Jamaican dollars. So what types of insurance do homeowners need to consider?
Okay, at Massey, we have what we call Home Pro, and that is really insurance to cover your home and your general contents. So if you purchase insurance for your home, if there's a fire, for example, and the place is burnt down, or we live in a natural disaster zone. We have a lot of hurricanes in our region, right? So let's say there's a hurricane and you lost your roof or your place is badly damaged, or even an earthquake. If you had insurance, you can claim on your policy. So your investment, your life savings that you just took to purchase this house, you wouldn't have to worry about, so how am I going to start over when I don't have any more money? Because your insurance policy would kick in right here, where you would claim under your policy for the loss that you suffer to your property. And I like to talk a little bit more about content insurance, especially because we talk a lot about home, and everybody understands
Yes.
the
Tell me
importance.
about this content insurance because this is new to me. I thought that when you insured your home, everything insured, not just the house, but whatever in it. If there is a fire, everything is insured. But no, you have to have a separate insurance called content insurance.
Yes, it's not a separate. You can have it under the same policy. So what our Home Pro policy covers: building, contents, and you can have like your all risk cover, which I'll tell you about. But I want to just zero in on a little bit more onto the contents. So for your general contents, which is your bed, your fridge, all the things that you have in the house, you can insure those items whether or not you own the building. So, most of us, when we start out, we buy little things one at a time, and we accumulate nice furniture over time.
Mhm.
But just imagine if something should happen. Let's say there's a fire and the things were damaged. Now that you've amassed all these items, what you would have to do now is, if you didn't have insurance, you have to go back and buy everything. It's not like when you started and you just did buy the bed and then you buy the fridge and whatever. It's all this accumulated things that you would have lost. So under a Home Pro policy, if you had contents because you did not own your building, your policy would cover you in the event of a natural disaster or any sort of accidental damage to equipments or items that you have in your house.
That is such a good point because a lot of people who rent feel like, okay, well, I don't need insurance. Insurance is for homeowners, but you can be a renter and still have that type of insurance to cover all your furniture, your equipment. If you're a small business and you have specialized equipment like photography equipment can be
Yes.
really expensive, you can insure those.
Yes, you can. And you can insure them. Like I say, if you're a business operator, it's a separate type of policy. It's not a Home Pro policy anymore. What we give you if you're running a business is what we call a fire and allied peril policy. So that also cover all the things I mentioned before. If you own the building, you cover it under that building, under that policy. If you have the contents, the equipment, valuable equipment, you can also insure them under your commercial property policy.
All right, so let's talk to those business owners, especially the small business owners. You might be a sole trader, for example. What types of risks are involved in having this type of business, and how can Massy help?
Okay, Massy can help you in ensuring that you have the appropriate coverage. So let's say, for example, you're a small business operator, you're running, I'm just going to use an example of a restaurant, for example. So you have a small restaurant, you don't own the building. We talk about the building and the content aspect of it as already. But as a business operator, you have a duty of care to the people who come into your business place to do business. You have a duty to ensure that your place is safe for people to come in. So say I come to purchase lunch at your restaurant today, and the lady was wiping the floor and she didn't put up the sign to say, wet floor or whatever, and I slip and I fall. That business operator, if he didn't have public liability insurance, what it means is that he would now have to go into his pocket to pay for the damage that this person and the expenses associated with the injury that this person would have suffered. So at Massy, we have what we call a public liability policy, and we have public products. We actually have public product. You can buy them single. You can have public liability only, or you could buy a combined policy where you have public product liability insurance. For the product, let's say, for example, I had something at your restaurant and I got sick because somebody put something in the food that shouldn't go in there, something toxic. And I decided that I'm going to claim on you because I know that this is the only thing I've had all day. You have a duty of care to the people who come into your property to consume the food that you sell. So business operators,
Oh.
yes. So a mouthful there, but yes.
Yes, yes, I'm just taking everything in. Go ahead, Winsome.
Yes, so you have a duty of care to the people that come into your establishment to consume what you sell, or even just if I come in, you come into Massy here, and in the lobby area, for whatever reason, we might have had cards hanging out or whatever, and you trip and you fall. We need to ensure that the place is safe. And the fact that you came in here and we had things dangling about the place that caused you any kind of injury, or if you had an insurance policy for public liability, you could claim on that policy. The same thing is true for your staff, your employee. You have a duty of care to ensure that the place that you have for them to work in is safe. And so if someone comes to work, for example, and we have defective chairs in the office and I fall and I break my back or hurt myself, as a business operator, if I have my employer's liability policy, right? You could claim on that policy for the person that got injured for the injuries that they suffered.
Wow. So, like I said, you really touched on a lot there. But Winston, when we think about the past year, for example, COVID-19 has really just changed a whole lot in terms of how we do business. We have staff working from home. We have a lot more companies offering delivery services. What are some of the considerations there?
For people who do delivery service, for example, there, if you are a business operator, again, same public liability policy could help, because if it's the food that is being delivered that anything happened to persons who would have consumed it, you could claim under the products liability section of the liability policy for that, for the damage or the injury, whatever the person has suffered.
And all of those things contribute to the risk level of having a business, operating a business.
Oh, yes. And there are several other policies that we have here at Massy that different business operators could use. I mentioned earlier about you having your equipment. As a commercial customer, machinery breakdown insurance is important to people who are in, say, production, for example, manufacturing. So you have all of these equipments, like I'm looking at some cameras and all of those things that persons would have had as a part of their business. And if anything should happen to these equipment, I mean, you would not be able to operate. But if you had machinery breakdown insurance, for example, you could claim under those policies. Should the equipment be burned or accidentally damaged, you can claim on your policy for those things as well.
So,
Here at Massy, we have a suite of other products. Something else I want to touch on real quick, Kalila, is now we've become so dependent as a people because of the pandemic, as you mentioned before. So our computers, our cell phones, these are now tablets, our lifelines. The children have to be going to school on tablets, as you know. These items can be insured, and at Massy we do insure them. We can insure these. If you're a residential customer, you can put them under your home policy, or if you're a business customer, we have what we call a computer all risk policy, which also covers all the equipment. So like here at Massy, where we have several computers because everybody needs to have one, those items can be covered under computer all risk policy.
I see. So talk to me a little bit about cost then, because I'm thinking if I'm going to insure tablets and computers and little one things, it might add up.
It does. It will. And let me just give you a simple example of I'm going to talk just about content. So let's say, for example, you had contents in your house valued at about $1 million. Here at Massy, we could insure those contents for you for $55,000. We also allow you a payment. You can pay over 3 installments as long as you complete payment within 60 days.
So that $55,000 covers what period of time?
For a year.
1 year.
For 1 year, yes. That would cover you for a year. And then the following year, you'd have to renew your policy again. But like I say, for $1 million, I'm just giving you a simple example. I mean, most people have more than $1 million contents, because these little things, when you go to buy a new bed and a fridge and a TV and to throw in a few computers, you realize you reach $1 million already. The stove, or could I forget the stove and the washing machine? So roughly, that's what it would cost you. to cover those things under the home policy. For a public liability policy, for example, we normally talk about limits of liability. And what I mean by that is how much coverage we're going to give you in the event that one person slip and fall, or coverage for a year. And I'm going to use $5 million, for example. For $5 million, we could give you coverage for about $75,000 here at Massy.
That's pretty reasonable, especially when you think about if something were to happen indeed, if there was to be a fire or hurricane and you were to lose all $5 million, 75,000 could get you back your 5 million when you think about it like that. And so I see why you say insurance is a form of investment, certainly. So before we wrap, Winsome, is there any other point that you wanted to make that we hadn't gotten a chance to mention yet?
I'm sure I have. Let me just think for a second. Did I mention how you can find us? We are on the Panjam building, 7th floor, 60 Knotswood Boulevard. We can be contacted at 876-633-7085 if you need us by telephone. And we're, of course, on all social media platforms.
At Massy United Insurance, you can follow them all over social media. Thank you so much, Winsome. You've given us a lot to think about.
Thank you for having us. This was great talking to you.
Absolutely. So, viewers, listeners, whatever medium that you're choosing to watch this on, there are so many reasons that general insurance is a firm investment when you or your business want to ensure your financial security, especially in the event of a loss. Insurance can really, really offer that level of protection. Thanks for watching. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Let's get this money.
Let's get this money.